Hello, we're here today in Fiona Moloney's Two Pans yoga practice in Stony Batter. Fiona, do you want to tell us about your practice here in Stony Batter?
Yes, I started Two Pans Yoga Room about a year and a half ago. I had just been made redundant from my long-term corporate multinational job, and I had a yoga training course which I'd completed a few years previously. So I decided to run a 3-week introduction to yoga course just to test the market, just to see if anybody was interested. And they were, and it worked out very well, and I was thrilled. And I decided to keep going, and I introduced beginners yoga classes, which I now do 2 a week, and they're working out very, very well. I do an over 50s class, which is fantastic. I'm thrilled with that, and it's working out very well. I do drop-in classes, all hatha yoga, and I run yoga classes here from 4 days a week in the evenings, 4 evenings a week. And I love it. Yeah. And everybody's local. Some people are coming from afar now, both men and women, all ages, all levels of experience, and I love what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah. So you went on the Harvest program for holistic practitioners. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yes, after about a year and a little bit, I found that I had kind of come to a point where everything was going quite well. I was also running classes outside in different studios as well. Everything was going quite well, but I'd reached a point where I was almost where do I go next? How do I keep this running? How do I keep it growing? Because when you're running a small business by yourself, you're doing everything. You're doing layout, you're doing web design, you're doing posters, you're delivering flyers, you're emailing, you're doing absolutely everything. And I kind of thought that when I saw the Harvest program, that it fitted in perfectly with what I needed to do next to focus myself. Even though I was only in business a year and a half, but I think for me, my corporate experience made me realize that I needed to focus. I needed to sit down and actually write it out and really, really focus. So that was one of the decisions why I decided to do the course, just to really nail myself down and
Very good. And what kind of things did you learn in the program?
Well, the program ran over about 6 weeks. There was 4 modules, full day each, and there was a group I think of about 9 of us, all from different areas. I think I was the only yoga teacher. There was a Pilates teacher, there was Reiki healers, there was reflexologists, chiropractors, all sole traders, all working independently. Some were in business 20 years. I think I was the youngest in terms of being in business years. Some were in business 3 or 4 years. All of us had the same sort of problem. So it was actually great to sit down and to work through and to discuss and to kind of share our experiences and what we were suffering in terms of problems, whether they be perceived or real. And we did realise over the duration that a lot of what we were feeling were just fear and panic about what to do next. So the program was run over 4 modules, and it evolved organically, brought us to a point. So we started off kind of looking at our business, identifying our vision, and sort of going back to where it was that we started at, where did we want to go originally. So for me, I only had to go back a year to kind of go what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. For other people who are in business a long time, they had to go and kind of really kind of think about where they wanted to go and what their vision was. So we focused on that initially. Then we were kind of driven towards, identifying bold steps that we needed to make, 5 bold steps. That was quite exciting because the creative juices then began to flow. We bounced off each other, ideas were flowing, and we had our 5 bold steps written down, and then we were given the tools and how to implement the 5 steps over a period of time, which was defined, a 12-month period. We also did some work on sort of website optimization, marketing, identifying our customers, nurturing our customers, how do we retain our key customers, and that was, I guess, they were the main things that I learned. Yeah.
And what kind of things are you implementing at the moment then, from what you've learned?
Part of the program, at the end of the program, we had to do a couple of assignments, and then we were also given an hour with Frank on a one-to-one basis, a counselling type basis. But the assignments that we were given really made you focus, sit down, and look at the two areas of your business that you could grow. One of them was the assignment was asking you, how can you grow your business by 50% in a year? The second one was identifying a key segment that has not been addressed for you. So I actually at that point picked over 50s yoga group. It made you take a look around and see if anybody else was teaching over 50s. So you looked at the market, you identified your segment. And I had found over the period of time that I was teaching that a lot of women were wanted to come to yoga, but might have felt a little bit intimidated or a little bit self-conscious being in a room with younger people who could maybe do things a little bit differently. Bodies are very different. So that's what I did my assignment on, and then I introduced the class based on all the market research that I had done. And the class is now running, and it's very successful, and it's really thrilling to see, a group of women who can actually share their problems and actually have a bit of fun around their hips that won't open anymore, or their sore neck or whatever. And so it was great fun actually putting that in place, and it was the assignment that actually really made me do that.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, and you'd recommend then the programme?
I would have no hesitation in recommending it. Grace and Frank were really, really fantastic motivators. Very clear, very encouraging, great fun as well. It wasn't very serious. We got through our serious subjects with a bit of fun and a bit of lightheartedness. And, they very positively encouraged us, even when there was a few moments of fear or potential negativity about how do I do this, it's not possible. They very positively encouraged us to take another view and another look. I would have no hesitation in recommending it. I got loads out of it. As I said, I have a background, even with all of that background in business, I found that doing the course with Harvest was applicable to me and what I'm doing now, and it really helped me to focus myself going forward, and I've got loads of plans for the next year.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks a million for everything. Okay, bye-bye.